Good morning from Bali. If you're new to my channel, welcome. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about the magic of Perplexity. If you're like me, working in the field of go-to-market, outbound sales, growth, you're a founder, you're looking to scale your business, and you're looking at outbound outreach, or you already maybe are doing outbound outreach with VAs, follow-up system with your CRM and Gmail, and you have people sending videos for you and so on. This video is for you because you know that outbound outreach is not just about contacts and volume anymore. It's about context. Now, what do I mean by context? Context is literally understanding everything that's going on in the person's life right now, as without being as creepy, and really using that to understand, number one, is this person at a buyer's journey close to where you want him or her to be? Two, is this person the right person to talk to? And three, if it's yes to both of the first two questions, number three would be, what is the best angle based on the most relevant connection point or starting point I can use based on what the person is doing currently or what the person plans to do in the near future that would really help him or her get to their outcome that your product offers, right? So this is where I think adding Perplexity to your outbound tech stack is going to be revolutionary, because I've been doing it the last few days, and the output has been much better. So for those that are not familiar with Perplexity, Perplexity is positioning itself as a Google competitor. It's started by an ex-Googler. He comes from the same city as I am in India. Funny stat, I follow him on Twitter. Great guy. He's very focused on building a much better future with Perplexity and for people to get answers to questions that are important for them. And if you look at this prompt where I just say, tell me everything about this person I can use for my outbound outreach, and I just paste it in from my Airtable database, you see you get a beautiful profile summary, you get key details, you get sample outreach angles, you get company quick facts, you get contact recap, and it takes it from 24 different sources. This is context at the highest level. So when you know this context, all of a sudden you can replace all the scraping you need to do, whether that's LinkedIn scraping, website scraping. You can replace all the creepy ways you need to figure out what the person is, because this is literally one source of truth. And when you use this node in your workflow, you get a lot of data out that you can start branching that data first into your CRM, into your nurturing sequence if the person is not ready. If the person is ready to really use that to write the perfect email. So let me show that to you. So here I'm building this for a friend of mine who lives in Jordan. And so his workflow is pretty straightforward. So they have a bunch of leads. We scrape their LinkedIn and check if do they operate in Jordan. You can obviously get Perplexity to do all this, but I'm using ChatGPT still because it's a pretty simple prompt. And then we clean the company name. We add a qualification log so we know, what's the confidence score. And then finally, here comes the Perplexity output. So let me just quickly show that to you. All right, so here I've given it a little simple prompt, and I'm using the model Sonar Pro. There's also Sonar Reasoning that came out, and I think it won first place in terms of inference and and outcome with Gemini just this April. I'm recording this in April 2025. So anyway, over here, you can see that I get a beautiful, I asked Perplexity, is this the right person to sell my storage service? It says no. I say, give me a confidence number. It gives me 0.8 out of 1, and it says reasoning. So this person's role has been primarily administrative and human resource focused rather than directly involved with logistics. And it gives me a beautiful summary, right? So this is an example of what you can get out of Perplexity. In this case, I'm using it for giving me a confidence score if I should go after this person. What you could do, the way we're structuring our campaigns over here, is that we're going after, so this is our database. So I have a trail of those that are not qualified. But after you've exhausted your leads, you can come back here and look at, okay, how do I nurture these people, right? How do I make sure that I'm building relationships? How do I maybe do an event? Or so all of them doesn't have to lead to sales. It can lead to nurturing and relationship. And I think that's an important part of building sales. So by understanding where a person is and whether the person is ready for you, and if the person needs a product or service right now, there's an urgency, you can really tailor make every message. Let me show you another workflow. So this is for a B2B SaaS company. Here, we still have the nodes of lead LinkedIn and so on, because we're using that for LinkedIn content development later on. But basically here in the Perplexity node, what you can see over here is you take the data from who the person is. Again, you can give it a clear prompt on what the context is for the prompt. And once you give that, you can see that you get again a beautiful summary. It's so compact the way it writes. It's so well written. It's coherent, which means that you can ask questions like, what is the current project this person is working on based on the data you find? And then it gives you the exact name of the project that this person is working on. And in this world of infrastructure, which is what my friend runs over here, this is completely revolutionary because it takes them 2 meetings to get to the right person. And then it takes another couple of meetings for them to get to the right project. So if we know this is the right project, because then what I can do after this step is to understand everything about the project, which you see here, it gives you a clear understanding of the project. You can then lead everything, your subject line, your mail with the project, because that is super relevant for the person that is opening, that is on the other side. So what I've done over here is I've broken down the steps of how we write the email based on this data from Perplexity, because it can be overwhelming for something like ChatGPT to write the email. So I've broken down just the body in one and CTA and subject in the other. So it sort of brings it together. And here you can see the subject line has the project. And then you can see that, the first sentence has the project reference. And then it also shows about what the project is trying to do. And then it takes a question that either the person has been posting or talking about, or the project has a challenge. So this question is super relevant again, because you can add this question into your email without making it sound like you're asking for something, but you're connecting on the question that is important to the prospect. And again, you're building bridges and building relationships, which is so important when it comes to working with your outbound. So, and then there's a CTA at the end. I made a personal video for you to help with this. I'm happy to send it. No pitch, no pressure, or weird background music. So this is a wonderful copy of an email. So if you're starting to use outbound and you're doing it manually, I would still recommend you to use Perplexity. So you can literally copy paste your lead data into Perplexity and ask it to analyze it and take it as a CSV. So what I did, for instance, is take 20 leads, put that in Perplexity. Perplexity gives you an output, which is like a big TXT file. You can take that, put it in ChatGPT and ask it to make it an Excel or CSV, and then you have the data and you can upload it into your CRM. That's one way. Or the other way is to build with N8N, which is not that complicated. And if you want my workflows, you can add me on LinkedIn. And you'll find those workflows there. So, and you'll find those links and how you can get these workflows in the description below. All right. So my workflow, the way I start my workflows is usually some kind of a hard qualification, because you want to know if you're going to write what you're going to write and whether the person's ready for you. And that's as important for your outbound. So if the person's not ready for you and you're just building a relationship, it's much better to give them something. So I generally like an event. So once a month or once a week, you do an event and you invite them to the event. And maybe they don't show up, but they've seen the event, and then you hit them on LinkedIn with an ad about the event. So there's a higher chance that there's some brand recognition. So outbound doesn't live in a vacuum. It lives together with other mechanisms. And more you leverage other mechanisms, the better. But one thing that is a no-brainer to leverage is the Perplexity node I just showed you. So it is the absolute magic pill in your outbound efforts, because it gives you the context. And when you know context, you can literally tailor the messaging. So in outbound, there are 3 things that are important. It's the volume. So how many do you send, right? It's whether your emails get sent, there's deliverability so people can see your email. And the third is context and personalization. Now, if you can get context and personalization right, you go a long way. The first and the second, I'll do separate videos about, and you'll find them all in my channel. But if you can get context right, and if you can really get them to shake their head, like, nod their head when they're listening to when they're reading your email, that this person understands me, you've won trust. And if you win trust, you have a foot in the door. And if you have a foot in the door, you can build from there, right? So I hope you find this useful. My key takeaways: use Perplexity in your outbound tech stack, use Perplexity in context research, and put that in your emails. It'll really make it shine. Okay, so I'll see you in the next video. Take care.